smile on your face. So turn up your speakers like it on your crispiest shoes. Welcome everyone, now let's find out what it do. What it do with your body, Henry? Hip hop, video games, topics that turn on the brain. What it do with your body, Henry?
Oi, what it do, people? Welcome back to What It Do with Jabari Henry, with your host and my friends. I got Daniel Virgos with me. I have Andrew Hamilton. What's popping, guys?
You first, Daniel. It's like freaking Florida traffic waiting for someone to get in front of me.
All right.
Nah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode.
For sure. Daniel?
Hi.
Just a high. Fantastic. Loving the energy already.
I'm dead.
All right. Today we're talking about remakes, reboots, and remasters in games right now, which are kind of taking over everything.
For real.
Personally, I don't see too much of an issue with it. I'm kind of for it for the most part, actually. How about you guys? What do you guys think?
I, for one, say it's a great opportunity, but it's the business world is just too predatory, and they're taking advantage of a lot of people right now.
I get you.
We're going down the same route as Hollywood. We're never going to see anything original ever again.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that. I don't think that at all.
Fingers crossed.
Reboots, remakes, and remasters from now on.
Dear God.
No, not at all, bro. All right, let me start this off right here. Remakes that have been coming out. One thing that I want to do to defend it. All right, because I'm for it. I'm for it completely. With remakes, I think remakes is a great, like as Andrew says, like a great opportunity. Actually for like gamers like nowadays to actually try the games, like especially the older games from way back when, like modernized, have their mechanics, just freshened up to fit the modern landscape of gaming. Let's think of Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 remake came out. For me, it's one of the best horror games of all time. It took the original's thought process, and it changed the mechanics to fit the modern landscapes. Had the over the shoulder camera. It changed how the knife system worked and everything, and it changed the Predator system. Which if you've ever heard of Resident Evil 2, I'm sure you've heard of Mr. X. And how he just stalks you around the game, and it made the game so much more horrifying, so much more scary with modern technology.
Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but like the only benefit that you're ever gonna see from all these reboots and all that kind of stuff is that you're gonna get quality of life updates for old games that like for older games that people like still play, and I get that. That's cool, but like. That's the only benefit I see from this. That's it.
I wouldn't even say older games that people still play. I think it's more so of like, we're going into a new generation of gamers. A lot of gamers nowadays don't want to go back to like Andrew. I'll say this straight up. I played Final Fantasy VII again. It does not hold up for me at all. That remake though, freshened up the story. It brought everything back. It fixed things in the story even from the original. This is their chance to like bring the story into a new forefront of gamers. I think it's doing a great job at it.
I'll counterpoint because we're talking about Final Fantasy VII real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. I love that game dearly and what it did for Final Fantasy VII, but at least the original isn't chopped up. And I would say Final Fantasy VII
it is. It's on 2 discs.
3, but at least when you buy the game, you get all 3 discs. True. But if you ask me, like there is a good 10 hours of filler in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's because it's like an official open world game now.
Well, I mean, not the first part. I would say maybe like we'll see how the second part goes, but
I'd say it's much more open world than the first one. At least I'd say.
Right. But Daniel, how about you go with your thought?
I just think, like, look, some games need a quality of life update. I get that. But like how many. It's just like how many times are you willing to buy the same game? You know, and like obviously it's super lucrative and stuff. I get that, but you're playing the same game. The genuine you're playing it's the same game. It
I
is.
think I think you're talking more
Don't
in
cut
the.
me off, Jabari. Don't cut me off. It is still Final Fantasy fucking 7. It just looks and moves better. That's fine. I get it. Some old games need that modernization. I get that. But when you're telling me I have to buy like let me bring up an example.
Okay.
Fucking the Ezio trilogy. Remember that remake, that remaster, whatever.
It was a remaster.
That was like what? Not even 10 years ago, and they remastered. It looks great, but like it's the same game. And I think look, I'm not saying I'm above anybody. I am a victim of this too. I have purchased it and I played the hell out of it and I loved it. It was great. It was a big nostalgia fest. Christ Almighty! I bought this 3 games again. Like it. My point is, it's cool to relive nostalgia and relive games that definitely could use some new bells and whistles and a nice spit shine and all that, but just new content is new content. I don't care if it's a different game mode or you know what reboots aren't necessarily the worst as long as they're like a continuation. But yeah, like I'll give you another example. Like Crash Bandicoot 4. Granted, I am a bit biased on this, but like they picked up on the original trilogy, and then they continued after that. Like we're not granted they did remake the games, but they continued. They came off and they made something better for it.
All right, so I have thoughts. One, I think you're confused a bit. Remasters and remakes are 2 completely different things. Remasters, like you mentioned, the Ezio trilogy, is just bringing up the game up to like modern like graphical standards, with like some quality of life fixes. A remake is completely remaking the game from the ground up to something completely different. Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake are 2 different games. They play completely differently and everything. Like these are 2 completely separate things.
Because you're bringing it's this. Because here's my outlook. Because at the end of the day, it's still Final Fantasy VII. Like OG Final Fantasy VII is what they made with what they had at the time. But Remake is their ideal version of it, and I get it. But like I would say, Final Fantasy VII is one of those games that fall under, hey, this needs a quality of life update. This needs to be put out in its truest form. But, and I might be 100% wrong on what I'm about to say. But answer me honestly. Did anybody really ask for the remake?
Very much so.
Like from what I don't remember anybody asking for it until it was announced. And then also, everybody was Daniel, like,
one thing I want to bring up, you are not a part of this community whatsoever.
Oh, I'm definitely not.
Yeah, so like, yes, people definitely asked for this game. I remember the day it got announced, and I brought it up to my friend, and I told him like, bro, I would go crazy if they actually make a Final Fantasy VII remake, and they did. Like, people have been asking for this remake for a long time because again, the game did need updating. The game is not the same game. It is not the same game, and I want to keep stressing that.
I guess
the first Final Fantasy VII is a turn-based RPG. The second is an action RPG, completely different.
I guess what I'm also trying to bring up, but is like I don't want to see what is currently going on in the movie industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where like everything is just a ripoff of everything else. You know, granted, that's just like I don't want to see that anymore. I don't think am I gonna get what I want? Oh hell no.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to see like what's the most recent reboot that just came out? I can't. There's like 6,000 of them, and I can't.
I can't.
How about
Technically, isn't the Creed series a reboot, or are they just sequels?
I think they're sequels to Rocky.
They
Oh.
are
Because he's in there.
they're technically sequels to Rocky. Yes.
Okay.
For those tuning in, and I don't know when this is gonna be fucking out, but the Creed 3 has just come out. As for a time span. Fuck. Or you know what? Let's use the last trilogy of Star Wars, because that's the first thing that pops into mind. Like the what was it? The Force Awakens is a genuine. It's pretty much a ripoff of A New Hope, and I get it.
Weird thing to say for the same series.
Yeah, 100%. But like they're trying to bring in new fans. They're trying to bring new fans and keep old fans. I get it. It's just I like we left the characters as is. I'm more than okay with getting stories from different parts of the world or different parts of the lore, or just different places to pull stories from. There are a bunch of other places where people can pull stories from, or make games or make movies out of without needing to copy off old stuff.
Okay. Counterpoint to that.
Fuck you.
But the movie industry, I totally see your point. It is kind of ridiculous right there. But the game industry, I feel as though that like we're still getting original games. I totally do. What's it called? We just had Hi-Fi Rush, which is something it was completely original. It's like, think of like Devil May Cry mixed with like a rhythm game. It is like, when I first saw it, I'm like, I couldn't believe it. It was like two of my favorite genres mixed together, and it plays wonderfully. It looks beautiful with this cel shaded art style. And also, let's think of Deathloop. Deathloop, a very simple concept I've never seen done before, which is it's like a roguelite. It's like a roguelite, but with every single time it's not randomized. You know the exact thing what's going to happen every single time. It's about you remembering and getting through the scenario and planning out your strategy to actually win the game. I've actually never seen a game like that. We have original games out there,
Yeah.
And I think it's mixed in with these remakes.
Will they ever get the attention they deserve when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 comes out?
Yeah.
Which is a terrible, terrible game, I might add. I wasted $70 on that game.
So if Call of Duty 2 comes out, isn't that just technically a sequel?
No, it's actually like a remake of Modern Warfare 2. They changed a few things in the story, arguably worse if you ask me, but that.
What I'm saying, and Andrew's kind of getting at my point, is because the games that you're mentioning kind of comes off as indie. Because like I think the main point of the line is like main story AAA.
Deathloop was made by Bethesda.
Deathloop did not get as much recognition or as much notoriety as their bigger games. Like I know exactly what game you're talking about. But Andrew, have you heard of Deathloop?
Yeah, I seen quite a bit about it, but I never purchased it.
I have
another point for your argument that you and I have not purchased this game that was original. You know why? Andrew, because it's hard to trust a new game, with like an upfront price and things like that.
100%. Humans are wired for familiarity. 100%.
Very true.
120%.
100%. Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, I'm more I mean, look, I'm a picky son of a bitch. I like rewatching the same animes because I know what's gonna happen, right? But I don't know.
Okay.
When it comes to games, like that's just my escape to try something new, right? So like seeing a remake, yeah, that's great. But unless there's nothing else, I would rather throw my money at something that's unproven.
Okay, so why not throw your money at something like Deathloop? Why not throw your money at something like Hi-Fi Rush?
Because I'm broke. But anyways, but that is in the works. That is in the works because Deathloop is definitely has been talked about and is in the works.
All right, well, that's just kind of my stance on like that for the most part, because I'm thinking like I still feel like that you think remakes are more so of like remasters, which I still have like a strong stance that those are two different things.
They are. No, you're right. But it's just this like even though like what other remake out there like did Modern Warfare really need a remake?
No.
Probably not. I'll tell you this. I'll be on your side on this one. I'll be on your side completely on this one. The Last of Us did not need a remake whatsoever.
Exactly. Didn't the
that had no reason to be remade. That game came out on like
or remaster.
So they've had two. They've had a remake and a remaster. If you ask me, they're just two remasters. If we're talking about like if quality of life updates and graphics, yeah. If we're talking about quality of life updates and graphics do not count towards a remake, then that game has not been remade. Story is exactly the same. Gameplay has some improvements from Last of Us Part 2, which are kind of hard to notice. And the AI is a bit better, but those are all just modern upgrades. No remake around that story.
It's still a modern game. That wasn't
2013 and then 2017 and now 2022.
But that's still like
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I would say 5 years is not enough. However, that is Sony's flagship title besides like Spider-Man. And they're a business. They say humans love familiarity.
God of War.
People are obsessed with this game. You know, we're just gonna keep fucking remaking it.
I think there's a difference between porting it over and giving it a new shiny coat, right? Like these are games that came out on what, the PS3 and the PS4?
Yep.
Yeah.
They didn't need, they at most needed to be ported, but they didn't need a new spit shot.
At most.
They hold up.
I have The Last of Us remaster. Like it makes no sense.
But like
that those games were remade. That's like that completely proves your point on that one. I'd give you that one 100%.
But that's what we're getting. I see that more than Final Fantasy VII.
Aside from The Last of Us, what else?
How about the Modern Warfare franchise?
Okay.
We got
actually I don't know much about Call of Duty, so I don't even know when that came out.
We got Modern Warfare, which is like the reboot or whatever of the of like the franchise where Warzone was introduced, and then now we got Modern Warfare 2, which is just another remake for a game that could have just put.
Side note: is it actually called that?
Andrew,
say that again.
Is it actually called?
Side note: is Modern Warfare 2 the actual name?
No, it's not. It's literally just Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, yeah. I'm low key disappointed.
That would be great.
That's really stupid. That's hilarious. But continue with your point. I'm sorry.
But like, I will agree that like if we're trying to get games like, I don't know, like you know how like the original like solid Sonic trilogy, I can understand. Like a remake or a like just bringing those into which we got in Sonic Mania, by the way, but I can understand that. But like, well, I guess my point, what it boils down to is that the remakes, remasters, yada yada yada, all that we're seeing in games that are, for the most part, are still considered pretty modern, and I don't agree with that.
I agree with you on the point of like, again, stuff like Modern Warfare 2 and The Last of Us remake. Like those did not need to be remade whatsoever. Like I'd have an issue if Uncharted got remade. And I love those. I love that. I'm not gonna lie
to you.
It does not need to be remade.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Coming into this argument, I thought it was already being remastered or remade or whatever.
Oh no, they said they're done with the series for the foreseeable future, which I'm very happy about.
I genuinely thought they were getting a remaster or whatever, and I was like, why?
No. What's it called? They do have a remaster, but it's just a remaster. It's just they don't have it takes no effort. You just up the res. That's about it. It didn't remake the game like The Last of Us, which they claim they did. I don't
get it
know.
because
Looks like the same. It looks like a remaster to me.
like I get it because
Without The Last of Us, but it's called a remake.
Yeah, you're porting it over to a new generation, but like, I don't know.
Like for me, the ports aren't a big deal. Ports don't even get like that big of a shout to begin with to me. So like that's okay. Like where are they? Metal Gear Solid. They get remade every so often. Like that's okay. Not remade, remastered every so often. Like that's okay.
Oh my God,
I'm cool with that. Now I'm talking about games like, you know, like here's a recent one that's coming out soon. Silent Hill 2.
Mm-hmm.
I've played that game. That's one of my favorite horror games of all time. I played it recently, and that game is a slog,
you know,
to get. And it's just because I'm so spoiled by like how games are now. You know, I'm used to the mechanics and stuff now of games. It's getting remade, and I'm getting interested in it now. But the thing is, Daniel, right? And here's the big thing with remakes: they do change up the story a bit. Resident Evil 2, they changed up the stories. Final Fantasy 7 remake, they changed up the story, and now we have serious implications for the sequels.
Okay, so let me.
And so like with Silent Hill 2, it's like we don't know if they're gonna remake it like, you know, the story like to a T. We don't know if they're gonna like change up the story, which honestly I don't want them to.
Now let me ask you guys this: if we're on board with the remakes, where are we on the line with the remake of old arcade cabinets? You know, like
old arcade mechanics. What do you mean?
Like give me Dig Dug remade.
Machine?
Yeah, dog. Give me Pac-Man remade. Give me Dig Dug remade. Give me Donkey Kong remade.
Donkey Kong remade would be funny as
exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. That would be hilarious.
I want to see a full-on open world Dig Dug game now.
Guys, give me a remade Pong. That's what I want.
Exactly.
They get creative and start experimenting. You know, the gaming industry has just gotten so fearful of experimenting in their AAA division. And it's really sad because they're the ones most capable of trying new things and actually maximizing their potential. But familiarity breeds wallets.
Money.
So, yeah.
Yep. Breeds money.
I'm not.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree with that, Andrew, that with AAA games, just,
you know,
they're losing the heart.
We love Final Fantasy VII Remake, but we're gonna have to spend fucking $200 total on that shit, cut up into 3 slices of pie.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, don't forget the DLC if you want this character you've grown to love for 20 years.
The DLC,
and then in the next 10 years, Final Fantasy Remake 1 will be remastered.
And you know what? You're probably right, because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Update the graphics a little bit. Unreal Engine 5 is probably going to be the greatest thing to happen to gaming, because it's just going to be the best foundation to build a game on, and they're going to just run with that. And, you know, what's to say swapping out a few textures won't take 2 hours for $1 billion in profit?
Daniel, you mentioned Final Fantasy 1. Andrew, I think it's going to take a little bit more than a few textures.
No. I meant like.
I'm exaggerating. You're right. You're right.
What I was saying is that the first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake, so what we just got, would be remastered in the next 10 years.
I want to say no, but I also wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, say it with 100% confidence.
But anyways, my main point is, I want Dig Dug remade into a full-fledged AAA title.
First-person shooter.
Oh my god, bro! You know what? It should get the Doom treatment. Oh my god, I'd be so down for that.
That'd be so sick.
That'd be so, bro. You know what game we're talking about, right, Andrew?
Doom Eternal. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but you remember Dig Dug, yeah?
You know Dig Dug.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. I want 30% profit right now. Patent pending.
No, forget about Dig Dug. Give me Galaga remade.
Knack 2. Knack 3.
Oh my god.
Galaga remade would be fire.
That would be great. It's like, see these old school cabinet games? Yeah. I'm down for a remake. I'm down for those to be brought into But see, here's the thing: with these kind of remakes, they're being brought into a different potential. They're being brought into a different perspective rather than their original games with what we have now. But but like we don't need like we really honestly don't need Last of Us remastered. We don't need the Ezio trilogy remastered. We don't need half of the Assassin's Creed lineup remastered into in today's age.
I think I'm not. I don't want to seem like I'm completely shutting down everything you're trying to say, because that's not what I'm trying to do at all. But like, I feel like the remasters, it's I don't think it's that big of a deal, because what's it called? The Ezio trilogy remaster. I didn't even know it came out, but it's nice to have like a more updated version just there. Nothing changed really, and the game's at a discounted price with all 3 games.
It's barely changed. Like even the
it's a discounted price. But it's the exact same game.
But even the updated graphics in quotes weren't that updated. There's still a lot of graphical hiccups.
Because I'm thinking like I haven't played it myself. The new Metroid Prime remake. Not remake, remaster. New Metroid Prime remaster just came out. I never got to play that game. I don't have access to it.
I thought it was a continuation.
Now I do have access to the original. So like, I'm kind of excited. I do kind of want to get it. Are there other things that I want to get already? Yeah, but like down the line, I'm very interested in getting that getting that remaster. It's just with the remasters, I don't think it's too big of a deal. The Last of Us remake, that's an issue. At least that's what I think. What do you think? I'm guessing you're not agreeing.
The natural assumption.
I feel like we're a bit off. I feel like I feel
like we're all overall in agreement, but certain extents. Like if we're to scale of like 1 being the most in agreement, and 3 being the least in agreement, it would go Jabari, you'd be at 1, Andrew, you'd be at 2, I'd be at 3, because like at the end of the day, like if I really wanted to go back, like if I really wanted to go back, I'll go back and find and hunt and go through all my cabinets, all my closets, just to find the 1 game on my PlayStation 2 and play it. And I did that. I did that to play Ratchet and Clank. And you know what? Instead of paying $60-$70 for a remade title, I paid maybe $20 for an HDMI converter and a new PlayStation 2 controller.
But that's good for you. I never owned a GameCube. I kind of want to try Metroid.
Did you have a Wii?
Low key, I kind of want to try.
Did you have a Wii?
Did you have a Wii?
Yeah, did you have a Wii?
I was playing. What's it called? I was playing Mario Super Sluggers, bro. I was playing Brawl. That's what Metroid Prime was. I didn't even. I found that Metroid was a girl in Brawl, dude. I didn't even know.
Why are you complaining? You have a GameCube. It don't look like a GameCube, but it's a GameCube. That's the best.
I didn't know it was there. I didn't even know you. Daniel, you know when I found out you could play GameCube games on the Wii?
What?
I found out when what's it called? I found out when I went to a friend's house, like a few years later, and I'm like, whoa, you can actually put GameCube games in there? That's when I found out. And granted,
that sounds like
I barely knew what a GameCube was. I had a Wii. I was a PlayStation boy. I was a Sony pony.
That sounds like
the only Nintendo system I owned before then. I owned a Game Boy Advance. No, SP. Never mind.
That sounds like a you problem, Chief.
It is a me problem. I didn't get a chance to play it
because I took advantage of the GameCube capabilities of my Wii.
I didn't know. Excuse me. I bought a Wii because I can move things around on the screen. It looked cute. That's my problem. I didn't mean to be poor, Daniel. I'm sorry.
Whoa. Andrew, did I ever call him that? No, Let us say for the record that I did not say that. That did not come out of my mouth. That is words being put in my mouth. I do not discriminate on anything, please.
Okay, then I have a question for you both.
Yes.
All right.
Go on.
All right. Remake a game of your choosing and say the main attribute of what considers it a remake. Either like a
Dig Dug.
story change, gameplay change, whatever.
Dig Dug. Dig Dug. Dig Dug.
Oh my fucking god.
Bro, I shit you not. If I bet I can go on Reddit and find someone that'll agree with me.
Yeah, you two will be the only fucking people buying Dig
Bro,
Dug
are you
Remake.
kidding me? Dig Dug Doom Eternal remake would be fucking sick, bro.
I don't know if Dig Dug came out like as a remake.
Oh, I'd jump
I
on
think
that.
it's a shot in the dark that it could work, but they gotta impress.
Yeah.
Granted, Dig Dug. I don't even know what Dig Dug's story is.
That's gonna be an indie, like
like-
that's gonna be considered an indie game, you know?
No, he's just an exterminator, bro. He's just gets sent into his little world, and he's gonna kill all the monsters in his little in the underground. Oh my god, that'd be such a good you know what? I hate horror, but I would buy that. I would buy that in a minute.
You'll play it in 3 seconds, get scared, and never touch it again.
But you know what? Money well spent. I got my money.
Okay, for me,
I shit my pants. I'm happy.
For me, just because I mentioned it earlier, I'm like, actually, that would be pretty sick. Galaga.
That would be sick.
Star
That would
Fox?
be super sick.
You remade in a modern console, make it kind of like a give it like a dog fighter kind of thing.
Star Fox? Someone say Star Fox?
Star Fox?
True. I guess it would depend like if Galaga like how it would control, like if it's only gonna be left to right. But port that shit to VR and like I'd probably never leave.
Oh, you know
Space
what?
games and VR go
Well,
together like peanut butter and jelly.
Actually, Galaga first person, that won't be bad at all.
Didn't the Lego games get remade too?
I think so.
Maybe I don't play those games, so I have no idea.
I think they did. Actually, I think I remember seeing it, but I never touched it or looked at it.
Andrew, you asked us the question. What is it for you?
I would choose Generation 4 Pokemon to be remade. Oh, but Andrew, I came out with it. No, the combat is so outdated and so slow. The RPG system works great, but if I have to sit there for like 30 seconds waiting for Blissy's health to go down after close combat, dude, like it's not working. Like,
Bro, it's a remaster. I like Shining Diamond and Brilliant.
There's nothing different about those games besides some art style and the 3D little battlefield that looks terrible. It looks terrible. The textures look absolutely terrible.
Did they not change any? Did they actually not change any mechanics?
No, it's
At all.
a remaster.
Which
That's
is
tragic.
which is
Okay.
You know what? The tried and true Pokemon formula is wonderful, but it's $60. And if you ask me, the DS version is just as good, if not better, for its art style and things like that.
I will beg to differ. Well, I will say that it is the definitive way to play those games on 2 things. 2 things only.
Mm-hmm.
One, the underground gives you access to Pokemon right away, like Pokemon that you won't be able to reach until later in the game or after the game, which is nice. But my main and true reason why it is the definitive way for you to play Diamond and Pearl is because you don't need an HM slave.
You know what? I will take those points. I will.
Exactly.
I think they do improve on some things that slowed the gameplay down that people wouldn't be fond of, that include backtracking and like some level of management.
The quality of life change in that, to me, makes it the definitive version. Only for that.
Hear me out. If they're gonna try and re-release a game that came out 15 years ago, knowing that their main fan base is adults now, I mean, I understand the like easier like kind of quality of life for the kids and younger audience coming in, but there's all these games out here doing these amazing things, and I think Pokemon continues to squander its potential with all this new hardware and new capabilities and 15 years to come up with new ideas. And I love that they expanded on Underground because that shit was amazing. I'll never forgive them for taking it out and expanding on HM slaves. but like if all you do is clean up the bad parts of the game and not actually like hammer down the nails of what made that game so addictive and good, like it's just not good enough for me.
Well, you gotta remember what made Generation 4 amazing.
Daniel, sorry to cut you off a bit, but we're gonna run it out on time.
Well, you know what? We're gonna spend another 8 hours of me talking about Pokemon. So
I'm not gonna be in hell like that, Daniel.
sit your ass down and enjoy my thesis.
All right, guys, this was a nice episode of What It Do with Jabari. Finish your point, and we gotta end.
All I'm saying is that what made Gen 4 so amazing was because they fixed the special physical split. They added a whole bunch of amazing design for new Pokemon, a damn good region. My biggest issue, my honest to God biggest issue is that Gen 4 requires the most HMs out of any game. So the fact that Shining Pearl or Brilliant Diamond or Brilliant Pearl and whatever it is, removed that, just made it the definitive version of those games, and I don't give a shit what you say. Because I paid $60 for that, and I'm happy with what I got.
Agree to disagree.
Oh, that is a fantastic point, Daniel.
I do really love your points.
Thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Wait for my 8-hour thesis of Pokemon.
Next episode.
Please, no, I can't sit through that. But either or, we're out of time. I'd like to thank my audience for joining us. I'll see you next time. Get your money up, not your funny up. Bye-bye.
It's been real. Bye-bye.
Bye.